Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. Today we start off in King's Cross, but we're on a very special journey, which you already know from the title. We're off to Royston! Woohoo! I don't think I've ever been excited to go to Royston, but we are today. This is using the DPsimulations East Coast Mainline South extension, and this has the hitch and flyover in it and everything like that. So we're going to get going. This is just a quick drive. We're just going to have a quick scout of the route as well. One of the main reasons for me doing this is just to show you it, but also there's something odd. Now I don't know what they've done to this at all. This is also using the Super Alps reskin, by the way. Frame rates. For some reason, the frame rates on this route are double what they are on the DTG version. Now I don't know if that's something that was purposefully done, but I mean I'm getting 24, 25, 9, 30, even 23 frames per second in London. Yes, there's no stock, but even with stock in here and some of the really light frame rate intensive 91s and stuff, I'm still getting a really nice frame rate from them. I mean, I would never dream of doing this on the DTG route because it just looked like it was stopgap animation. Also, while I'm driving this, I was not correct the other day. You can put night headlights on this. It was me that got it wrong. So yeah, this journey has no real meaning apart from just to show you the route and get to Royston. It's amazing driving it just with these frame rates. I mean, I've never even explored how far you can get Eurostar wise, not too far. But you can even go to the tunnel that goes nowhere. A few people have told me the frame rates were amazing on this, but by God. And this isn't the first time I've driven this route. I have driven from Royston to Hitchin, but this will be my first time going over the flyover, which is definitely one of the more interesting bits. And I won't lie, if you've watched the previous two videos that have gone up before this, I've pumped 40 odd quid literally just to get the what is it, the 15 miles or whatever it is from, if it's even that, from Hitchin to Royston. But I'm just so pleased somebody has done it. Somebody has gone, hang on a second, that ain't too far to do, and they've done it. And I mean, who could do it better than DPS? Not many people. For freeware stuff, you pretty much unbeatable. Sorry, I say that. On par with the Ian guy that does the North Clyde lines, Suburban Glasgow. He does some wonders for nothing. And a few frame rate drops just as it's loading in tiles. But where we know, Finsbury Park, you'll be lucky if I was getting 22 here. 26, 24. So yeah. And I mean, when I say you'd be lucky if I was getting 26, I mean really, 24, 22, I mean really lucky. Like not moving, looking at the controls with maybe that much of the cab showing. I mean, you can see when I go down here, it's limiting. I mean, it says it's going to 40, but it is limiting. It should be limited at 30. Horns in bells green, typically pretty crap usually. Again, not stunning on this. But definitely better. 20 of them. Good God, look at it, Hornsey, 20 frame rates per second. Fair enough. Still love this repaint. Really, reskin, sorry, I should really call it. Really love it. Bounds green, how are we? Again, not terrible. I know Chris Horsfield he improved his frame rate a lot by deleting trees. So I'm wondering if they've taken out, just to try and improve the frame rates at all, just maybe taken out some bits and pieces, I'm not sure. Just really looking forward to seeing scenario pack creep out of DPsimulations for this route. I was recently doing some of their scenarios on the Peterborough to York route, and it just breathes new life into it, mate. Ridiculously breathes new life into it. And fingers crossed. I mean, I know there's a guy called Nathan Smith who's doing, I say this every time on the East Coast Main Line, a guy called Nathan Smith who's doing up to Cambridge and like a whole extra swathe of it, and also Great East, the West Anglian line as well. If DPsimulations could get to Cambridge, that would be me a very happy man. Doesn't give us masses of extra scenario potential, I understand that. What it does give us is things like there's spoil trains, there's all sorts of runs that come up and down there. Also the diversions, so I say there isn't loads of scenario potential, there is a lot. And I mean, if they could do it Ely up to Peterborough or even up to Kings Lynn, then there's an awful lot. I mean, that's a lot of work, and I don't expect that for nothing, you know what I mean? But I would love to see it. We're sitting here dawdling along, and as I'm not timed, we all know 365s in real life are very capable of 110 mile an hour. Well, I say that. One of the guys I don't see him that often anymore, that drove 365s, reckons he got 112 before he cacked his pants and slowed down. And that was when they were first coming online in the early 90s. I'm just really enjoying getting frame rates on this bit of the road. It's a bit boring without stock and stuff. I understand this video is not going to be for everybody, but if you get bored of this bit, just skip it until we're around Hitchin, because that's when it will start getting really interesting. So it's coming up Stevenage now. I'm not. Hatfield. Oh, I said it properly. Sorry, Shatfield. Have some arty-farty shots. It's definitely not the prettiest train on earth, is it? Ooh. Didn't like that, did it? I was looking at pictures of the 365 cab the other day, and it just made me think I would love somebody to come along and retexture the cab, or personally I'd like to see it get an Armstrong Powerhouse enhancement pack, nudge nudge hint hint, but it's not, I wouldn't think it's really a priority. I wouldn't think it's one of the majorly driven trains in Train Sim by any stretch of the imagination. But it is pretty unique. I mean, I was talking about in this last video with the button arrangements and the button types and things like that. It's even the other networkers have got different cab layouts and interiors. And like on here, this is, now from what I would say, to me this looks like that weird metal that you get in train cabs sometimes, but actually, and that looks like it's been booted in. But on most 365s and the cabs I've ever been into, this is actually carpet. Well, carpet moquette from the seats usually. It was red when they first came out. I still haven't got my hands on a 365 manual. I'd love one. I don't think I've ever seen one come up at all, actually. I mean, I think it's definitely old enough now that there'll be definitely a few kicking about in the market. And I think the newest one I've got is probably the 333. Which is another train I'd really like to see in Train Sim, just because of how unique it is, really. There was conversation I saw, I think it was Facebook, about why they hadn't been the Heathrow extension in Train Sim, and somebody was bleating on about how it was a security threat, and the terrorists that did 9/11 used Flight Simulator to do what they were doing and everything like that. I don't really buy that, if you ask me. If they wanted to plan it as much as they wanted, all they have to do is get on the train themselves. Go and do a bit of a recce beforehand. I can't really see how having access to a simulator that has a line you can just jump on and go to. It's a bit different with flights, isn't it? Because you've got to be able to, in theory, fly the aircraft, which isn't particularly, well, if you know what you're doing, it ain't hard. Then you look at like study level simulators like PMDG and things like that. you could do more than just fly the bloody thing. You could know how to fly itself. A few weeks learning on that simulator. It's just taking us onto the slow lines, so we're ready to cross over at Hitchin. So I've been off work all week, and that's my first beer during the week. I try not to drink during the week when I'm working. And I've been off since Easter, the Thursday before Easter. A nice break, and that's been my first midweek beer. It's atrocious, isn't it? My first midweek few beers. I always really liked this building here. And it was like, was it Barclays Bank or something? Or Lloyd, I think it was Barclays Bank or Lloyd's Bank. But I think it sat empty for ages. Just got that real 90s look about it, loads of smoked glass. I think the glass actually is a slight bluey tinge in real life. Oh, I'm excited now. Genuinely, actually am excited. Easily pleased, me, easily pleased. Also, talking of that, Nathan Smith that did the East Coast Mainline add-on. Do you remember my video? It was the last video I did the 365 in, actually. And I was looking at the guy's phone on the platform that was a Windows phone on one side and an Apple phone on the other side. He's not only, he's gone and retextured it. So it is a proper iPhone now, which I was very pleased about. And he's also done the, do you know the passenger has the coffee cup? He's branded that, so that's now a Costa coffee cup. I mean, do you know, the route that this guy's doing is going to be bloody awesome for tiny little details like that. You think you'll never notice them, but then I was stuck at Finsbury Park the other day and decided to have a look, you know what I mean? And then you do notice them, and then you go, well, that's odd, that's a bit weird. Not that it really matters in any way, shape or form, or will make a drastic difference to the simulator in any way, shape or form, but it's just nice to know that somebody is going to that level of detail. Now, it'd be nice if, well, I'm about to say that, if there was more people a bit like AP who are going to the extreme detail on the actual locomotives and trains themselves, would be in a lot better position. Right, so we go up to 80, down to 70, then to 50, and then across the flyover. A little bit laggy when it's loading in there. Hey, so basically, as soon as we come off this line, it's all new track. Oh, I can see it now. There's a 50 limit over the flyover. Yes. That's cool. That's very, very cool. You know what this calls for, don't you? This calls for a screenshot. I probably couldn't have got that much worse. But if I do that, then do that. Nope. Sorry guys, I shouldn't really be doing this in the video for you. But I had to do it. So let's have a look while we're out there actually. So this guy's gone over the East Coast main line. Let me show you how this works. So, down trains, trains heading towards Cambridge come up and across the flyover. Up trains heading towards London still use the crossover. So what that's basically done is free up all of the down lines. Because before they'd have to cross over, now they don't have to. Which is brilliant. Right, we're in all new territory now. So this is us rejoining here. And again, this is my first time coming up this route from this direction. I've done the upward journey into London, but I haven't done the down. I was actually really impressed with this. They sort of whacked out the line to Letchworth, and then I think they had actually when they released it first, it was just to Letchworth. Then it was to Ashwell Morden, or was it? Could have been to Ashwell Morden straight away anyway. But then they, within a couple of weeks, was it 2 weeks? They were at Royston. And this is somebody that's doing this for nothing. For who? For us, you know what I mean? I mean, just look at Letchworth Station. Just like most of DTG stuff, you'd happily pay. DPS simulation stuff, you'd happily pay for it. It's just good. The only thing that I know that isn't here is station signs. I think they've got somebody working on them as we speak. But if you've ever been through Letchworth Station, it is quite pretty, because Letchworth is a garden city, as in Letchworth Garden City, Welland Garden City. And here's cool as well. So carriage signs Letchworth, 313 Heaven. So these are usually full. You come in up here, down through the carriage washer. You're stable for the night. You got sign non-points, maintenance, clean. Well, you wouldn't get any maintenance here, but cleaning. It's impressive. It's captured the feel of this route. It really has. There's quite a lot of quite high embankments. It is very tree heavy as well. Would we be crossing the 50? No, there'd be A1 would be crossing there, will it be? Yeah, A1. I think we'll go parallel to the 505 after Baldock. So this is Baldock. Two things that I know about Baldock is there is a Greek restaurant in the middle of Baldock called Zeus, which I've had. Pleasure is maybe not the best word I've ever used for it. It's sort of a real themey restaurant, and they do like a lot of like hen nights and stuff. And I, funny enough, did go to a hen night there. Yes, I know it sounds daft as a man, but it was a hen night. It was my supervisor at work at the time, who's actually now my manager. My clinical supervisor, that was. She's now my actual ward manager. She had a hen do, a work hen do here, and me and a mate of mine dressed up as ladies to attend. It was quite fun. There's a shell garage actually on the 505 just over where we're looking now. He had at the time, this was going back a few years, a ridiculously lowered PT Cruiser on 19-inch alloys, blacked out windows. So it looked like some sort of modern day gangster car from the 1920s. And out hops me in a mini skirt and a pair of nylons, and him in a French maid's outfit. It was a sight to behold. Hilarious, had a good night. And then I think we all, because loads of people from work went, they all picked it for a Christmas do once. And like you do like plate smashing, it's just like mass food and that. The food weren't terrible, but it weren't brilliant. And the other place that's there's a paint specialist just on the outside of Baldock. And that's where I used to get the paint for my Triumph Tess back in the day. It's Valencia blue or Venetian blue, I can never remember what colour I had from there. But you used to have to, if you were coming down the 505, you used to have to go through Baldock, and then they built the bypass and a tunnel. So you don't actually have to go into it anymore. That's it there. I wonder if they have actually modelled the tunnel. That would be pretty spectacular if they had, but I don't expect them to have. No, it's just where you can see it, isn't it? And we've got Ashwell. We'll have a little stop at Ashwell. Not stop the train, but we'll stop. Have a look. I'm speeding. Again, asphalt's pretty well modelled. It sort of looks like what it is. It's another station I've never got off at. And what have we got coming up? Another 80 limit, and then we'll be in Royston. I mean, this will mean more to me than it does to you, this bit. I know people will be going, oh, it's just a bit of track. But as a kid, this was where I saw trains running at speed. Driving along this road here and being able to look, I mean, it's a lot, it's closer than it looks in this. And you could see trains belting along, not so much on this stretch, but the other side of Royston as well. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Bunch of Network South East liveried 317s. My dad used to take me to this level crossing here. You say used to, he took me once or twice. So these level crossings that sort of peak in the middle. Awesome. I'm going to stop saying awesome again. Another place that was really cool that was on this route as well was Shepworth Wildlife Park, which, funny enough, is near Shepworth Station. But at one point in that, you could literally stand there and watch trains. You're right next to the track, and it used to be called Willer's Mill. And I used to love going when I was a kid because I didn't really give a two hoots about the animals. As much as I do love animals, I'd rather stand and watch trains. I just love the way this track's all overgrown like it is in real life. And there is sleepers on the track like that. There's those at Hatfield. They're not Hatfield, Hitchin as well. I'm not sure what it was for before. I'm not sure what Royston had. And yeah, Royston looks like Royston. If you want some good shots of around this line and the sort of different stock you can see, there's a guy on YouTube that I watch every now and again. He's a proper train spotter, but does some half decent videos. His channel is called 365 Lance. I recommend if you want to see what's going on this stretch of line or what to expect from diversions and freight workings, have a look at his channel. It's well worth it. So Royston, it's cool. It's just really cool being here in train sim. How far up do we go? See, look, it's not that far, is it? It's just a portal. So once again, guys, thanks ever so much for watching, and I will catch you soon.